A Father's Day fiasco just happened yesterday. Was it for the Ottawa Senators or was it for the Florida Panthers? That's going to be up to you after you watch this video and you hear about the masterclass of a deal that just went down between the Florida Panthers and the Ottawa Senators. Matthew Tkachuk and Brady Tkachuk, often called the Bash Brothers or the USA power forward duo, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get into details and explain how this trade went down and what it means for the NHL, what it means for fans, and most importantly, what it means for fantasy hockey. Once again, I'm the fantasy hockey expert. Make sure you're subscribed. We're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, much more. Give us a follow. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the first part of this video, and that's going to be regarding player leverage. Now, the deal that went down yesterday involved 3 first-round picks along with a second going to the Ottawa Senators in exchange for Brady Tkachuk. We saw pick number 9 in the draft, which is going to be a great player, hopefully, along with pick 25 and another top 10 protected first-round pick in the future, all going to the Ottawa Senators along with that extra second-round pick. Now, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, all these picks, where is Florida getting them from? Now, Florida had a disastrous year, starting in net with Sergei Bobrovsky, and that allowed them to somehow get into that lottery conversation. They ended up with the 9th overall pick, and they ended up trading for the 25th overall pick yesterday, or it might have been the day before. That involved Mackie Samoskevich, where they were able to deal off Mackie Samoskevich to the Seattle Kraken. They ended up with picks 9 and 25 this year. Those were packaged, once again, with those 2 extra picks. So they had 3 firsts and a second, and it came down to the wants and the needs of the Senators going forward and Brady Tkachuk and his team trade list. Tkachuk only had 4 teams on his trade list, which made it probably pretty difficult for the Sens to know what to do. We're seeing more players do this. We saw Dylan Larkin had a 3-team trade list. He hasn't been dealt yet, and maybe that's because the Red Wings don't have a trade in the works, or they are just at a loss for words still. I don't really know, but it's not going to help to wait till the start of the season. I think they need to get a deal done for Larkin. Sticking to the Tkachuks, though, the whole issue that people have and have had in the last day is with regards to no movement clauses and no trade clauses. You'll see these often referred to as NMCs and NTCs. And what's happening is players are signing contracts and being given no movement clauses, meaning they can't be moved within a certain period of time or they can't be traded. That's what a no trade clause is. And what's happening is oftentimes there is an issue with that player, with that team, something that's not working out, or in this case, something that's not going to work out in 2 seasons. Now, it was clear that Brady Tkachuk was not going to re-sign in 2 years from now with the Ottawa Senators, so they made the decision to get something for him now and not wait 2 years and not bank on the Ottawa Senators to be a contender the next 2 seasons. So this brings the question of what are the Sens going to do? Are they going to try and have a small mini rebuild? Are they going to try and trade these picks and these young players they have for assets that can win now? It's very interesting to see divisional trades going on, and we've seen these. We've seen these with Tampa and Toronto. We've seen these with Boston and Toronto in the last year, and so this causes even more frustration from fans. Second thing I want to get into today, who actually won the trade. I am 100% on the side of the Florida Panthers here. I think that they have a team with a bunch of guys in their early and even late 30s, plus a couple guys in their 20s, such as Anton Lundell. They were able to get this trade done and trade for a top 50 player without giving up any NHL players. When I say that, you have to look at the probability of prospects turning out. You have to look at where draft picks come from. And if you're the Florida Panthers, you have a top 9 that doesn't have to get touched. And now Brady Tkachuk slides in to play with possibly Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk. Let me know what you guys think of these Panthers lines, by the way. I think they're going to be pretty unreal. I can see the Panthers being back in the Stanley Cup Finals in the next 2 years. While the Senators did get a crazy return, there's never been a trade where 3 firsts were dealt like this. I don't like that the Senators didn't get an NHL player in return. Looking at the Sens roster, there's going to be frustration in a few years if nothing gets done with that team. They just went through a big period of rebuilding. They have Jake Sanderson for a good another 6 years, I believe. You have Linus Ullmark for a few more years. You have guys who are ready now, ready to hit their prime, and especially a guy like Tim Stützle. If he doesn't win in the next few years, don't you think he's going to be a little frustrated? The NHL is moving towards this, and it's a little concerning. That being said, the Senators did get first-round picks along with a second, and if you're a Sens fan, you kind of need to wait and see what happens next. The third thing I want to talk about is the Brady Tkachuk haters, because there are a lot of Brady Tkachuk haters. He is probably a top 5 most hated player in the league, but you got to give credit when credit's due. So, Brady Tkachuk, sure, he might not be the nicest guy on the ice. He might make some dirty hockey plays. He is an 82-point guy in an 82-game season. I don't understand the hate, but when I see Brady Tkachuk on a roster with Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, Brad Marchand, I start to get it. To see Brady Tkachuk just be dealt as a captain from the Ottawa Senators, I understand it can be a little painful and hurt a bit, but you got to give credit to a guy who works his butt off. He's an Olympic gold medalist, and while he didn't show up in the playoffs this year, he has shown up in the Olympics, the Four Nations, and the playoff series against the Toronto Maple Leafs, which was 2 years ago now. So it's not like this guy has a track record for not getting things done, not producing. We have to relax when we compare him to guys such as Mitch Marner or guys who just don't have any accolades, because Brady Tkachuk is a unique player. He's a unique force, and you can't just replace him easily on your roster. The last and probably most awaited part for some of you is the fantasy hockey impact. I'm going to give a shout out to the Bananas in my league. The Bananas has the Tkachuk duo on their 6-keeper team right now. And while the Bananas didn't get things done this year, I think they probably have the best 6 keepers in our league. So I'll give a big shout out to Colin for constructing that roster. You got Mo Seider and Evan Bouchard on the back end. You got a guy like Brendan Hagel even you might want to keep. You have the Tkachuk brothers. Solid roster construction along with a good goaltender. I mean, it's just going to be really cool seeing these guys play together. They might get 6 hits in one shift. They might get 4 shots in a shift easily. Like it's going to be pretty incredible. The fantasy impact of this is that Brady Tkachuk becomes part of a more stable team that scores goals, wins more hockey games. A lot of the time you'd see Brady and the Sens go on these losing streaks, and it would be a little disappointing because Brady wouldn't produce as much, but he might be top power play, guys. He might be top power play. Who knows? Matthew is probably going to remain the same. He's obviously battled a big injury, but he's healthy again. Might take a little while for Matthew to kind of get consistent again, but these two are top 15 fantasy players in banger leagues. I don't think there's much to debate there. They haven't really had down years, and they're very hard to replace, right? They're like the Tom Wilson, where you don't see them on every team. Hard to play against. They're going to get 20-plus minutes a night, and once again, they have guys like Sam Bennett and Alexander Barkov centering them, so there's no worries there. And again, when you look at stacks, of course, you want to have the Tkachuk brothers. That's a dream. Lundell might be a bit of a sleeper if you are in your late rounds of your draft and you have like a Tkachuk on your roster. Grab Lundell, because not only does he win faceoffs, but there might be a time when Lundell plays with the Tkachuk brothers or one of the Tkachuk brothers. So I think it's worth taking a wire, taking a flag on this guy. With that being said, Senators don't have much upside in fantasy. I think Tim Stützle has a year just like he did last year. I think Giroux's going to have a decent year as a depth guy in deep leagues. They're going to have a tough couple years in that Atlantic division, I think. So Florida's the way to go. Florida won the trade. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for my next video.